Alright, good afternoon guys. We're going to be doing the third part of 5.3, Elimination with Case 4 and Case 5.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, from Fantabulous's.
Okay, so first, remind me what we've said when we're solving a system. We're looking for two things the same, one thing different. Somebody tell me one thing that's the same. Same
Letter.
Same letter, same number, different sign.
Raise your hand.
Okay? Same letter, same number, different sign. If you have that, which is case 1, you don't have to do any multiplying. Okay? The ones we're going to do, you're going to have to multiply. So, what's the setup? How are things supposed to be lined up? It's supposed to have this, then this, then this.
It's supposed to be x, y, and then equals sign.
Yes, it's supposed to be
X,
x, y, equal sign,
then a number.
then a number. Whether it's a plus or a minus, it could be either. But you got to have your x, then your y, then your number. How many cases have we done so far, situations? We did 3. Okay? Case 1, I think it was already good to go. Case 2, you had to multiply by, I think, a -1. Case 3, you had to multiply by a number that was different than -1. So we've done 3 cases. So this is what I just said. Case 1, you already have it. Just add the values. You don't have to do anything. You already have case 1 in your notes. You don't need to write this down. Case 2. This is the case that we did in the warm-up. You have to multiply everything by a -1. Okay? Still not too bad, because all you're doing is multiplying by a -1. Case 3, that's the case where you have a single variable, and you have to multiply by a number from the other equation, but it's usually not a 1. It's like, could be a 2, could be a 3, so that would be something like this. 2x. Okay, just watch this one. 2x plus y equals 6. X plus 5y equals 1. And what we might do is multiply the bottom by -2. Because if you multiply that by -2, that's a +2. There's your cancel. All right? So that was the third case. All right. So case 4. So on your guided notes, okay, I'm going to show you what to look for case 4. What you're going to look for is the number of the smaller variable can be multiplied to get the larger variable. Okay, kind of like this. There's a number that's smaller with the variable, and if you look at the one up above, there's something you can multiply 3 by to make it a -6. Right? There's a nice number you can multiply 3 by to make it -6. You have to figure out that number. Okay? Now, if you said, well, what about the y's? I'd say, well, can I multiply 2 by a number to get 7? A nice number without a decimal? Can you multiply 2 by a number to get 7 without using a decimal? No. You can multiply 2 by something to get a 6. You can multiply 2 by something to get an 8, but unless you're going to use halves and decimals, you can't really do anything with the y's.
Unless you do like
But we're not going to use decimals.
3.5 times 3
Yeah.
times 2, which is 7.
So what you want to do is multiply the number with the smaller variable. Okay, so in this case, this is the smaller number with the variable, by something that makes it the opposite of the number with the larger variable, because that's the goal, right? Opposite. Same letter, same number, but we want opposite. So like 6, -6. That's the goal. Okay, so we're going to do 2 examples of each case. One,
Is this case 4?
this is going to be case 4. One is already lined up. The next one,
I wasn't.
I'm going to go right back. The next one isn't lined up.
That was kind of mean, isn't it?
Okay. The Y's don't line up. You'll be okay. It's online too, so you can go check it out if you need to.
You can't be mean to others.
So multiply the equation with the smaller number by something to make it the opposite of the larger number.
Does it matter? Like,
Okay, once everybody has that copy, we'll go through and we'll try this one together. Okay, hopefully Mr. Roy and I set these up so you don't get decimals, but I already told you on the test, you will not get decimal answers. I made the test, I know the answers aren't decimals.
We will get any fractions.
No fractions, same thing.
I'm not even.
I should be perfectly fine.
Okay, for case 4, does everybody have what you're looking for?
Yes.
Does everybody have what to do?
Yes.
Okay. Cooler.
Okay, and even though Mr. Roy and I are making all these cases for you, the whole goal every time you do a problem like this is what you guys just said. Same number, same letter, different sign. If you can do that and figure it out on your own without thinking about cases, that's fine. But we find a lot of people, when they look at this, they get overwhelmed because there's so many different things you can do, and a lot of people like it broken down. So that's why we've broken it down into these situations. Okay? So, let's look at this one. First, is everything lined up?
Yes.
Yes. X's, Y's, numbers. So, on your notes, you're good to go. Copy these equations in right here. 6x minus 2y equals negative 8. Equation 2. 3x plus 7y equals 4. Okay, now let's kind of go through some of the cases. Do we have same letter, same number, different sign?
No.
No. Do we have, let's go to case, I'm just going to go back so I can read case 2. Do we have a single positive variable in both equations? Single variable, no number in front of it. No, every variable has a number in front. 6, 3, negative 2, 7. So no, it's not case 2. Let's go to case 3. Single variable, either an x or a y in one equation. No, we don't have that
So
either.
it's case 4.
So it's case 4. Alright, so look at these numbers. The x's are a 6 and a 3. The y's are a 2 and a 7. You want to look at the smaller number. Can you multiply, let's start with the x's. Can you multiply 3 by something to get a negative 6?
Yeah.
Just yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Could you multiply 2 by something to get 7 without a fraction? No, so we're going to stay away from the y's. We're going to deal with the x's. No, we're just going to leave them right where they are. What would you multiply 3 by to make it the opposite of 6? Negative 2. Okay? All you're doing,
Why negative?
because remember, this is a positive 6. We want the bottom one to be negative. Opposite signs.
Okay.
Right? Same number, same letter, opposite sign. So the top one, we're not going to do anything.
Wait, so where do you think you understand?
That's the only thing you can multiply to get it there.
Okay, so you have to find one that goes through this.
Okay, so again, look at the smaller number. You have to make the smaller number the opposite of the bigger number. So like 3 is smaller. I ask myself, okay, I need to make the 3 the opposite of the bigger number. 6. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Okay? So copy down equation 1. Now let's distribute the negative 2, and then I think hopefully you'll see what happens. What's negative 2 times 3x?
-6.
Negative 6x. What's negative 2 times 7y?
-14y.
Yep, good. And the last one? Negative 2
8.
times 4?
-8.
Negative 8. Now, if you did this step right, you should have same letter, same number, opposite sign. Should be good to go from here.
Where did you get the -2 from?
3 times negative 2 is negative 6. We just figured it out. You just have to figure out the smaller number times what is the bigger number.
Do it with the equations. Well, it says what to do.
Yeah, I told you what to do right there. Joe, you might have to practice it on your own a little. It's not going to make sense maybe on the first one, but you might have to try some on your own, practice it, and then it'll
First
make more
lesson,
sense.
actually, Joe doesn't get 100 on it.
Okay, so we distributed the negative 2. Now look at the x's, look at the y's. Do we have the same letter, same number, opposite sign somewhere now?
Yeah, no. I don't know.
Wait.
What about right here?
Yeah,
Same letter,
same number.
same number, different signs. So what happens when we do 6x minus 6x?
0x.
They're gone. What's negative 2 plus negative 14? Negative 16. Good. What's negative 8 plus negative 8?
-6.
Not 0, that's negative 8 plus 8. Negative 16. Now, I still have to get y by itself, so what's my last step?
Divided by -1.
Negative,
I mean 6.
negative 16.
And then it'd be
What's neg-
1.
Positive 1. Yep. So,
Not again.
earlier in the warm-up, somebody said they got 1 as an answer. It's possible. We just got 1. That is correct. Okay. So, now we've done the hard part. What do I have to do with the 1?
You have to plug it into the equation.
Does it matter which one?
No.
No, we pick whichever one you think is
The
easier.
bottom one.
I think the bottom one, it has all positive numbers. Okay, so Jack, can you tell me what I get when I plug in 1 for y? Just tell me what the equation will be.
Do you get 5?
Well, just tell me the equation first and then we'll do it out.
3x plus y equals 4.
3x plus, what are you filling in for y though?
4?
No. What does it say right here, Jack?
What, 1?
Y equals 1.
Yeah.
So we're plugging in 1. So 3x plus 7 times 1 equals what still goes on the other side?
4.
4. Yep, good. So 3x plus 7 equals 4. Will,
Yeah.
can you finish that off for me?
So, you're gonna have to do 3x plus 7. Alright. So, at this point, you have to do 3.
You don't do anything with the x now.
Yeah. Alright, oh, plus 7.
So we got a plus 7, so we need the opposite.
You've already said.
Can I do it?
We need the opposite.
Oh, so
Negative what?
-4.
No. How do we get rid of...
7.
Subtract 7, right? Subtract 7. Now, 3x is on the left. What's 4 minus 7?
3.
Negative 3.
Wait, where did you get 4x from?
It's already in the equation.
Sorry, what's...
Yeah, it was
6x.
It should be 6. We didn't... 3 plus 3?
Yeah, what is this?
6. Oh, wait a minute, why are we...
Then we divide by 6 and we get -2.
No, that's 3. You know,
Yeah, I was like, where are you getting?
it's 3. Because all we're doing is plugging in... We're plugging in for...
I got the 3.
We're plugging in 1 for y, okay? So we got plus 7, we minus the 7, so the 3x is still here. How do we get the x by itself?
You divide by 3.
Divide by 3. Divide by 3.
X equals -1.
X is -1.
Let's go.
Okay?
Why is there so much?
Questions on that?
No.
Because this might be the only chance we go over one of these. Tomorrow we only have half a class. We're not going to be able to review everything for the test.
Copies, Joe.
We're reviewing.
It's better than your pictures of yourself.
Okay, questions on first example? Can you light it up?
No, there's only one difference in yeah, we do have to.
Right, there's only one thing that's different. All you're doing is figuring out what number to multiply by. That's it. Everything else is the same as last week. I can't really explain it any different. Just the same number, same letter, different sign. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, this is the last one of case 4. Okay, then we're gonna finish with case 5.
Z.
Can I do it?
Somebody tell me what's going on here.
Oh, you have to reset it up because the first equation is
The first equation is not the way we want it. How about the second equation?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's just.
Okay, if the second equation is okay, I'm gonna copy it in. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. What's wrong with the first equation? Or just tell me what I need to move.
It's the 20y
I gotta move it where?
to the right.
It's on the right.
To the left.
To the left.
Nice. Wrong right.
How do we move it to the left? You can't just move it
By its inverse,
by its inverse, which would be
-20y.
perfect. We're gonna subtract 20y, subtract 20y.
Now we just lay out like a regular equation.
Yep.
Have
Can you tell me what it would be?
11x minus 20y equals 28.
Equals 28.
What's the thing in your shoes?
All right. So now the goal is same letter, same number, opposite sign. Okay. Do you have same number? Jack, can you please take your hat off for me? Thank you. Do you have same letter, same number, opposite sign?
No, you don't.
If you have same letter, same number, opposite sign, that means like right now you have a 2 and a -2.
Oh, no,
6,
we
-6. You have-
But we could. Possibly.
we don't yet. Is this simple?
This is case 4, just
Maybe.
Is this the simple one where I could just multiply by a -1?
No, you have to do
No.
by the inverse of the smaller number, which would be 3x.
Okay, so let's look at the smaller number. Let's start with the x's. Can you multiply 3 by something to get 11?
Oh, no.
So you can't multiply 3 by something to get 11. Let's go to the y's. You have a -20 and a 4. Okay? When you have those two numbers, can you multiply, which one's smaller?
4.
Can you multiply 4 by something to
Yeah,
make
you
it
can multiply by -5.
No positive.
No, because 20 is negative.
Let's worry about if it's positive or negative later, but can you multiply 4 by something to get
5.
20 or -20?
Yes.
5.
Yes.
But
Right?
negative
Negative
5
or
is
positive.
No, it has to be negative because negative times positive is negative.
Okay, so what kind of number do we want to get here? Positive or negative? Positive. The one above is negative because we want different sign. Will, what's up? Why can't you focus today? I'm not going to feel bad when people fail. Like when people come to me and say, hey, is there any extra credit? I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, no. I say,
Not for you at least.
not for anybody. The extra credit is doing well on this test. If you want to bring your grade up, that's how you bring your grade up. Okay? So we have a -20. The goal is to get a +20. So now you have to ask yourself this question. What do you multiply 4 by to make it +20?
It'd be regular 5.
Regular 5. The top equation, we're not going to multiply by anything. So Fred, what do I do with the top equation? We're not doing anything to it, so all we have to do is put it in the next box. 11x minus 20y equals
Can I
28.
ask you a question, please?
Yep.
Where are we getting 5 from?
You had to ask yourself, positive 4 times what is
Where are you
20?
getting 1 from?
There's
One.
no one.
The what? Where the hell?
There's no
You
1.
need classes. You said, listen, alright, I don't need your potty mouth, alright?
Where's the actual?
So you're trying to figure out 4 times what is 20. Do you know why I want to get 20?
Not really, 'cause I don't.
Because I have a negative 20. What's the opposite of negative 20?
Positive.
Positive 20. I'm trying to get same number, same letter, different sign. That's the goal every time.
Here comes another failed test.
Same letter,
No, because it's
same
already
number,
negative 20,
opposite
but
sign.
you want it to be the same number, same letter, opposite sign, so you want a positive 20.
Glad that you understand.
Can you multiply 3 by something to get 11? No. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. You'd have to use a fraction. Can you multiply 4 by something to get 20? Yes. That's why we're going to multiply 4 times 5. Okay? Let's do it out. What's 3x times 5?
15x.
15x. What's 5 times 4y?
20Y.
20y. Now, before we even continue, look at what we just did. Y, 20, 20. Negative, positive.
Ooh, we did it.
That was the whole goal. Same letter, same number, different sign. We just got it. Okay? Now I still have to multiply 36 times
Oh my
5.
gosh.
It's 108.
100.
A lot.
It's 180.
No, it's 180. 180.
Joe, you're wrong. You just
I'm always wrong, get it right.
Okay. What do I do from here?
Now we can actually solve like the easy stuff.
Now we can solve. Add these up, the y's are gone.
So then it'd be
Wow.
26x.
26x.
11 plus 15 is 26.
And then
Equals 208.
308.
Oh, 300.
300.
Wait, no, sorry. I'm
208.
sorry, I was looking at the wrong word.
Okay, now I'm gonna hope this comes out nice. What do we do on each side?
You divide 26 by
Divide by 26. Divide by 26.
Calculator for this.
But how'd you
It
get?
does?
Yeah.
Because you have to add
I thought the
Eight.
top was negative.
No, I don't
Snapchat.
think so.
Yeah.
It was 11 plus 15,
No.
that's 26. 28
Divided
plus
by
180 is 208.
20.
How's that?
So we get,
0.125.
so 208 divided by 26. You did it the other way around.
That's what I always do on a test. Like,
X
I don't know how to use a calculator properly, because that's what I do.
is, so,
Yeah, I just realized I did that.
so to type it in on the calculator, you type it in exactly the way you see it.
Okay, so it'd be 26 divided by
208 goes on top, divided by 26.
Okay.
Okay? Now, what do I do with the 8?
You plug it in for one of the equations, whichever one you feel more comfortable with.
Yep. Let's do it out. 3 times 8 is how much?
24.
24.
Still clean.
Plus, Noah, what comes next?
You gotta plug in 8 for,
Already did that, we're past that step.
okay, you gotta add in the top equation, or the bottom equation.
So
No, you
24 plus,
Understand this. Which,
I wonder why.
I'm trying to think which equation we're doing. 28.
Just finish the equation. You have
3
3
20.
times 8 is 24, plus 4y equals 36.
I can't see that equation.
Because I don't have numbers.
You need to get it.
Do you need an eraser?
Yeah, because
What's up?
Okay, and now
Next step,
you would solve it.
solve it by,
Minus 24 on the other side,
yep,
and then cross it out and then do it again.
do it again. What's 36 minus 24?
12.
12. 4y equals 12.
Oh, then y equals 3.
Good job, y equals 3.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, if you're still having trouble, we're gonna do another one. If you're still having trouble, I'm gonna do one more.
I thought you said this was the end.
And then I'm done.
Another one?
But I thought you said this was the end.
No, guys.
There's 2 cases left.
Oh, I thought you meant we were doing more of case 4. I was like, no.
I didn't even get to write that down.
Can you go back so I can write it down?
Can you go back, please?
So we're looking at 2 situations. We just did case 4.
Are we gonna have time for case 5?
Yep, we have a half hour left to finish case 5.
Hello? Some people stop.
Excuse me?
X, I heard you to go back, I know.
I didn't know, sorry.
I'm getting there.
Something funny.
Okay, so that's case 4. You have to multiply one equation by a number to make them opposites. Tell me, don't solve it, just tell me if I wrote this down. Just watch it, don't copy it down. Can you multiply 3 by something to make it 7?
No.
No.
No. Can you multiply 2 by something to make it the opposite of 6?
Yeah.
What would you multiply this top equation by?
Negative.
-3.
-3.
+6 and you want it to be negative.
Right, if you multiplied everything by a -3, this would become -6, that would be +6, you're good. That's the goal. You have to make 2 numbers opposites. Okay?
Oh, I missed the whole
All right, so case 5. Okay, case 5,
Let's get it.
kind of like case 4, except you have to multiply in both.
What? Well, I like case 4, it was less work.
I know, case 5 is the most work. So case 5, you're gonna multiply the top equation by a number and the bottom equation by a number. But, unlike case 4, where you just kind of have to guess and figure out what the number is, you are not gonna have to guess the numbers. The problem tells you what numbers.
Oh.
Read what to do. It says choose the smaller variables, and all you have to do is multiply each equation by the number that's attached. So whatever is attached, that's what you're going to multiply the other equation by. Okay, when we do an example, that'll make more sense. Now, you might have to use opposite signs. Okay, because the goal is you want one number to be positive, you want the other number to be negative. So you have to make that happen. Right? So case 5, none of the other cases apply. Okay, you're going to have to multiply in both. Okay, the first one we're going to do, I'm going to line everything up for you. The second one, you'll have to line it up yourself first. Okay, once we finish those 2, that'll be it. And we write choose the smaller pair because smaller numbers are easier to work with. If you want to do the larger pair, can you? Yep. But you're going to have to do bigger arithmetic. If you're using a calculator, maybe it doesn't make a difference. But I would choose the smaller pair. Okay, does everybody have the
No.
what to do?
I do.
I do.
Yes.
And again, you can abbreviate that, like if you want to shorten it so it makes sense to you, you can shorten it. You don't have to write it all word for word.
Look at that hanging out.
Yeah, because that's the most concerning thing right now.
Okay?
No.
Sorry, you don't care about my well-being though.
Hell, leave her alone.
It really hurts.
Yeah, no, it's not fair. There's so many.
So in this problem, in this case, I can't say like you're always going to multiply the x's. Maybe the x's are the smaller pair. Maybe the y's are the smaller pair. It depends on the problem. Okay, so could be the x's, could be the y's. Could be, who knows? Let's look at a problem and see. Okay, so first thing I look at is I say, can I multiply 4 by something to get 5?
No.
No. Can I multiply, look at the smaller number, 2 by something to get 3?
No.
No. If that's the case, then this is case 5. You cannot multiply 2 to get 3. You can't multiply 4 to get 5. Okay? If this 5 was an 8, then I would say, okay, now we could multiply 4 by something to get 8. But it's not.
But I thought we were doing the same things except.
Okay, so let's look at the case and see what it says. Choose the smaller pair. Which pair is smaller? 4 and 5 or 2 and 3?
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
2 and 4.
Whatever, yeah.
Okay? So we're focusing on the 2 and 3. Okay, if you're not paying attention right now, you're gonna lose me in a second.
Yeah, I'm trying to word it differently. Like, what's the I'm trying to think of how do you?
That's, I think the way Mr. Roy worded it is as simple as you can. Choose the smaller pair of variables and multiply by the number attached in the other equation.
He just said it was simple. Oh my god.
No, not that. Like,
I don't think you can word that any simpler.
No, not
Well,
that.
maybe
Like,
you're a teacher, it processes through your brain what you.
I didn't say it's simple then. I said I don't think Mr. Roy could have worded it any better. I think he did the best job he can to explain it. It doesn't mean it's easy. It means he did the best he could to write it down. I don't think I could have worded it any better.
that's not what I was talking about. Like,
Let's go through an example. Okay? So choose the pair with the smaller variables. 2 and 3. Okay? 2 and 3 are the smaller pair. So now, what do the directions say? Multiply each equation by the number attached to that variable in the other equation. So we're focusing on the y's. Look at the bottom equation. What number is attached to y in the bottom? -2. All right, so we're going to take the top equation and we're going to multiply by -2. Why? Because that's the number that's attached to y in the other equation. So multiply that by -2. Let's copy this down. Now equation 2. What's the number that's attached to y in the top?
-3.
-3.
But you want to.
It's a -3, but we have to decide, should we use a -3 or a +3?
A +3 if you want a different sign.
All right, let's try it. So we've got 5x minus 2y equals -11. If we do this right, we're going to end up with a 6 and a -6.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what happens. If we end up with a 6 and a 6, then that means one of them should have been negative.
Okay.
Okay, if we end up with the same number, same sign, then maybe we should have done -3 instead of 3. Okay, but that's how you do it. Take the number attached to y in the bottom equation, multiply it in the top, take the number that's in the top, multiply it in the bottom, but sometimes you have to change the sign.
Wait, please.
Yeah?
Can we change can we put it to -3 so we don't have to redo it?
You want to try -3 first?
Yeah, because negative times negative is a positive. So we don't want to have to take positive and not do it.
Right, let's try -3 first.
Yeah.
Let's distribute it out. What's -2 times 4x? -8x. What's -2 times -3y?
6x.
Positive 6.
+6
Why?
y.
We did a -2. I didn't know that.
What's -2 times 8?
-16.
-16. So there's the top. So what letter are we working with? X or Y?
Okay, I didn't see what we're doing, so can we do a positive for now?
Hold on. What letter are we working with? X or Y?
I know, I realize that now.
Y. We're working with Y. We have a +6 in the top, so that means what do we want in the bottom?
Can we,
Hold on, just what do we want in the bottom?
a -6?
A -6. So before I do this out, ask yourself, is -3 times -2 -6?
I know, that's because I didn't realize what we were doing. I'm sorry. Can we do a regular 3?
We haven't started yet, so we can still change this. We haven't,
Can we do a regular 3?
we can try a regular 3 and see what happens. Okay, now we're gonna do it. What's 5x times 3?
15x.
15x. Who cares about the x's? We weren't trying to make the x's the same.
Yeah.
It's the y's. What's 3 times negative 2y?
Negative 6 water.
Negative 6y. Look what we just did right here.
Yeah, we did it.
Positive 6y, negative 6y. That was the whole goal. Now we have same letter, same number, different sign.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then we have minus 33.
And then minus 33.
Oh my god.
Okay, what cancels out?
The six.
Will?
The 6 was.
The 6y's. What's negative 8 plus 15? Or think of 15 take away 8.
It's a 23, negative 23.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
15 take away 8.
I don't know.
7.
So 7x.
7x equals.
16 plus 33.
Let's use our calculator. Negative 16
Negative 40.
plus negative 33, negative 49.
Oh, and then that was 7 because 7 times 7 is 49.
Negative 7.
Oh my god.
Okay, last step. What do?
You have to plug in negative 7 for the x.
Doesn't matter which one. I picked.
No,
I'd rather do.
when you're comfortable.
I'd rather do 4 times negative 7 than 5 times negative 7 because 5 is bigger. What's 4 times negative 7?
But 5 is easier to multiply by. 4s are more confusing.
28.
Negative 28. And just say you can do the bottom one. It will work out the same. You'll get the same answer. Negative 28 minus what?
3y.
Minus 3y equals 8. Okay. What do I add on both sides? 28. What's 28 plus 8?
16, 32.
So 30 what?
Wait. Okay, so 16, 32.
36.
Yeah.
Okay, 36. And last step. By?
Oh, then you get 12.
12.
That's where I was thinking of it too.
Careful, it's not 12.
Negative 12.
Negative 12.
And then if you plug everything in, the whole equation will make sense. I
Yeah.
realized that.
Yeah, if you plug it in, you could check it. You don't have to check your answers on this.
Boom.
Okay, so that's the hardest type. So we'll do one more of the hardest type.
I just, oh my gosh.
What's up? So I'll show you guys one more of the hardest type, and that's it. Okay, anybody need to copy down?
12.
That says negative 12.
Anybody need to copy this one down?
No, I thought you said 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's negative 12. 36 divided by negative 3.
Do you want me to send you the notes?
Okay, last one.
Yeah. Let me take a picture of that.
Okay, what's happening here?
Oh, we need to switch it around.
Okay, so do we need to switch both of them? Or is
No.
one of them okay?
The first one's okay.
The first one's okay, so let's write it down. Okay? Forget about the first one. What needs to move on the second one?
So negative 2y, make it a positive and bring it in front of the equal sign.
Exactly. We're gonna take the negative 2y, we're gonna move it to the other side by adding it.
Inverse.
Why am I moving it?
Because you need to have everything lined up. You have the x's, the y's, the equals, and then the regular.
Right, I gotta have everything lined up. Okay? So what would be for equation 2? What's the first thing?
4x
What's the second thing?
plus 2y
Plus 2y
equals 6.
equals 6. Okay? Now we've got our equations.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, this one actually is going to be
Can we do one?
Case 4.
Can we do one?
Can you multiply 3 by something to get 4?
No.
No. Could you multiply 2 by something to get negative 4?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you,
it's two.
so you do 2, so you
2.
multiply by 2 on the bottom.
We did it, Joe.
Excuse me.
Top equation, leave it alone. So where do I put the top equation?
In the box.
Just put it in the box. What do I have to do with the 2 in the bottom?
Multiply everything.
4x times 2?
8x,
2 times 2y?
4y,
Good. 2 times 6?
12.
12. Look what you have right here. Same letter, same number, different sign. What happens to the same letter, same number, different sign?
It goes out, you have to put it.
Gone.
How'd you get on the line?
Okay. What about my x's? What do I do there?
You add them.
Add them.
It's 11x and then 33.
21 plus 12, 33.
And then it's
X
3.
equals 11.
Oh no, x equals 3.
X equals 3.
Yeah,
What the hell trick is 11?
11?
Hey,
No, I'm talking about what Will got.
3 plus 8.
no drama queen.
Okay. Question on how we got 3.
No, he called me a drama queen though.
I know, you know what? Just ignore them. That's what I do when people like say things I don't really want to hear. I just ignore them.
You know what? Don't
I have to do that a lot.
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see there. Was his name?
Okay, now we can plug in the 3 for the x.
Now we're going to plug in 3 for x. I would plug it in here because 3 times 3 is smaller than 4 times 3.
But they're still negative.
You're still going to have to deal with the negative. So if you wanted to do the bottom, you could.
Yeah, I'm to the bottom.
3 times 3 gives me what?
6.
9.
Careful, 3 times 2 is 6.
9.
9. 9 minus, what's going to come next? Negative 4. Y. And what goes on the other side?
21.
21.
Get this.
Okay, all we did was change this to a 3. Okay, so all we did was change.
Wait, your 1 disappeared over there.
Thank you. Okay, what do I do next?
Oh, I just go, I go.
You minus the 9 on the other side.
Minus
and then
the
it
9.
cancels out on the 9 side.
Oh, I get it now.
What's 21 minus 9?
I'm not good with subtraction.
12? Look at, you've got some nice numbers. So what's y?
Y equals negative 3.
Y.
My numbers were nicer when I ended. Mine was nicer when I ended. The bottom question was easier.
This one, yeah, it was a little easier, yeah. Okay, so that was a case 4. Okay, what we'll probably do tomorrow is we only did one case 5. We'll practice a case 5, of course, a case 5 right away. Okay,
Yeah, what did you do?
guys, some quick reminders. Okay, homework tonight. Thanks. Can you please sit down?
Says the one that was only okay, you guys shot. Nice homework.
Guys, you can be quiet.
Okay, can you guys be quiet, please, so I can hear what I have for homework?
So homework is a worksheet. Class tomorrow.
Else will.
Okay, those are the periods. We have
Just say it.
39 minutes tomorrow. Okay, not a full class.
Woo, jeebus.
I'm not eating there.
Can you please sit down over there?
Now.
We can stay there.
I didn't all of you now.
Okay, tomorrow, you will get the reference sheet.
The right answers.
For the
I did
test.
all by myself.
There's no class on Wednesday, so when we review tomorrow, the next time I see you is the day of the test.
What did you do?
Test on Thursday. For those of you that want to bring your grade up, that's how you can bring your grade up. Don't come to me and say, what can I do for extra credit? You can come to extra help and do well on the test.
I'm not a face mask.
That was from last week.
Yes, okay.
Last academic week for third quarter.
So my grade now, depending on what I get on the test, will either get better or worse.
Yes.
It's true.
Yep.